Greetings, everybody. Hello. All right. Hello. So I'm jumping on because I'm very excited today. It is my 4-year Starseed birthday anniversary, whatever you want to call it, but it's 4 years to the day where I absolutely tapped into, got the direct confirmation, felt it in my body, got completely activated into the fact that I was a starseed. So it's 4 years to this day. So I just wanted to talk a little bit around this and me, my team. We've got some messages, maybe reminders for you, depending on where you are on your journey. Because before I get even into what even happened on my journey, a lot of you tuning into my content. So whether you're new to me, some of you just recently found me, some of you have been tuning in for the last few years, some of you have been connected with me for way longer before I ever stepped into any of this. And so as you're tuning into this, there are reasons that you're gravitating towards this energy. So we're going to share a few things today in this live stream around the whole starseed thing. My intention is to, just because it's the anniversary today, is to really just recap this is all about, why that relates to you, because I can guarantee if you are tuning into my content, our content, there's a reason for that. It is not random. And so many of you are curious. And the best thing of all, one of the best things I've heard from my team is that more of us are awakening. So it's not done. For those of you who are feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the world, it's not all is just the way it is. There are people, and I'm always told this, there are people that are going to be activated and awakened this year, next year, 5 years from now. It's going to continue. So I welcome you. I welcome you to this live stream. I welcome you to my page. For those of you who are, I'm going to say, well-seasoned starseeds, you're already fully versed with what the whole starseed journey mission is. I welcome you. Those who are sort of tentatively stepping on that path, maybe you think you are, you're not fully sure, you resonate with some of my content perhaps, or other people's content. And I'm going to even welcome those of you who really don't feel that you have anything to do with being a starseed, and yet here you are. Here you are tuning into this message for some reason that your soul has guided you towards. Yeah, there's magic happening. There's magic happening, and I'm just going to share a little bit about my journey because there was a lot of magic on that. I'll just go into it briefly, and we're just going to see what comes through. I don't know what we're going to share. All right, so for those of you who do not know me, maybe you've just stumbled across this video or live stream, wherever you're watching it, YouTube, Facebook, wherever. My name is Marie Fleming Grant, and I'm an energetics consultant. I'm a channel, which I'll talk about. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm an author. I've written a book. I've got some more books coming out. And it's very hard to label what you do sometimes, but I'm very much here for the ascension, to help you with your personal transformations and ascension. I'm here to help with the professional side of that as well, with businesses and missions, and also the planetary activations and massive ascension that is happening. My role, I suppose, is to, I really hope anyway, that I want to share this stuff in a way that makes sense, that it's down to earth. It's one of my biggest things. There's a lot of esoteric stuff in the spiritual communities. And I've never always resonated with a lot of that. I took myself out of a lot of those circles. So I really hope that I can deliver whatever I deliver in a very straightforward, down to earth way, so that you can understand what I'm saying. So if as I'm talking that I'm using words or things you don't know, just drop me a comment below so I know, and then I can either comment back here or clarify in another video or live stream somewhere. But yeah, that's my mission anyway, to try and assist with the collective consciousness. And for those of you that don't know, I had a whole different life before. And this is where my starseed journey, I'll very briefly take you through, because I did write a book. So I've got a whole book, if you're interested, is Above and Beyond: Human Journey of Courage, Resilience, Transformation, Magic and Awakening. Everything's in here, the juicy detail, the story, the transformation. It's very activating, this book. So check that out if you want to go in depth into a journey, which is a real page turner, I've been told many, many times. So yeah, I started off this life as a very normal girl. I already had that sense, like I came into this world, as many of you did, knowing already that I'd been here many, many times before. So I was raised like in a Catholic family, actually. So it wasn't something I was taught anywhere in my family, in my school, none of that. I just knew, I already knew, I had it very rock solid in me. I knew myself as being here for many, many lifetimes. So that's not new to me. And so I went through life, and as you do, you start to come away from this connection that you had very early, and life starts to layer you with programs and beliefs and ways of living and ways of being. So I went through a very sort of I had quite a lot of traumatic stuff happen as I grew up through my sort of childhood and then teens, particularly, and into my 20s. Lots of dark, toxic, heavy stress. So much, so much, so much is in the book. And so as I went through this, I was just sort of living what I call now like the typical 3D life. And my mission at the time was still to help people. I had this thing in me. I wanted to help people. I really wanted to help people. And so my mission back then came to me when I was about 14. Like, I really was clear I wanted to be a lawyer. Didn't know what kind of lawyer, but I definitely knew I wanted to help people. And so I spent kind of a decade actually training, overcoming hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. I had my daughter when I was just 18, and I kind of brought her up through me studying and jumping through all the hoops. It was really hard, it was really tough, it was really competitive, but I was very driven back then, and like I was pushing and very 3D and typical ambitious person, right? A-type personality. So I made it. I qualified as a lawyer, and I did all of that. And once I was there, I loved it. I loved the job. My passion was there. I ended up moving into child protection law, particularly. My heart was all in that. I wanted to make a difference. But of course, the way things are set up, it was a very stressful environment. And I was able to hack that because I was very used to stress. But the body can only sustain a certain amount. And the level of stress was extreme. It wasn't just, slight stressful time. I was overloaded. And because I hadn't dealt with any of my past trauma or any of my stuff, I was just overloaded. So I tipped myself into a debilitating illness, and it was so severe. I couldn't literally move, and so I had to leave behind my career, everything, and it became very, very, very dark for a while. And I was diagnosed with ME, chronic fatigue, slash fibromyalgia, because I had a lot of overlapping pain as well. So that umbrella of illness, and so I had this whole spiraling down, lost everything of significance, and I would say that was my first awakening. In terms of being pulled out of the 3D world, everything I knew, everything that I felt comfortable with. Hello, Neil. Hello. Hello again. Yes, you joined me earlier in the group. Hello, hello. Yeah, so it pulled me out of everything I knew, and it sort of like, it just jolted me out. And then for the first time, I had this feeling that my value couldn't come from outside. So all of my value at that point came from me being a lawyer, me using it as a crutch to feel good about myself, getting my sense of achievement value from just those 3D things, right? That everybody judges you on. First thing, especially here in this country, but probably where you are in the world, first thing people often ask is, hello, what's your name? What do you do? And so we put so much value on the stuff, the status, the stuff like that, right? And that's all I knew at the time. So when that was yanked away from me, oh my God, I just lost everything. And there was no value I had built up inside. So I went rock bottom. And that's when I got into very low state. I talk about it in the book. And yeah, I really, 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 really wanted to check out. I came very, very, very close to just, exiting. And then that's when it came in, and I had this, what I now know was guidance from my higher self and from my team. And it was like a voice that came in. I couldn't hear, but I could sense it. And it said, you are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. And it's something about that came in. It wasn't just a thought, because I was having a lot of thoughts. It was something much louder than those thoughts. And then it kind of cut through the noise, and it just gave me a tiny, tiny spark. And I'm not, I never tell that story where it's like, oh, the voice came in and I realized I was here for a reason, and I, carried on my mission. It wasn't like that. It was dark. It was gritty. It was a lot of hard work from that point, but it was just a flicker. And I was given, which I now understand, I was given just enough assistance for me to clutch onto, and then for me to create from that. And then I found a place where it helped me to recover. And then I went on this was like my first proper awakening. I went on this journey where I then started to heal, right? Finally, my thoughts, my feelings, my traumas, my everything that had happened to me. A lot had happened to me. I hadn't dealt with any of it. I'd been very eternally optimistic. I'd read all those self-help books to do with, think positive and just keep going. And I subscribed to all of that at the time, but it was so detrimental. And it's definitely not what I teach now and help people with. It's so detrimental. You've got to be able to face what's happened to you. You've got to be able to face your life experience. And so I did that. And it took me a few years, gradually, bit by bit. And I went from being completely, at some points, housebound, where I couldn't get up. I'm talking to get up and go to the bathroom was an effort, and it took me a while. And then I had to sort of crawl back, and that was it. Making food was like, oh God, excruciating. I remember just drying my hair with a hairdryer if I could manage it. That day was the activity for the day. So it was really, really, really seriously debilitating. So chronic fatigue is, yeah, it's definitely not an understood illness at all. Yeah, and it was a very, very painstaking period. But in the end, I made a full recovery, despite what doctors said. I'm going to throw that in there. Despite what the 3D medical model told me, which was have some counselling, here's some antidepressants, and hopefully you'll just manage with that, and hopefully you won't end up in a wheelchair because you won't get so debilitatingly weak and deconditioned. And I was, very, 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 very sick at some point. Couldn't digest food. It was a complete mess. And there's so many symptoms that go with that. So I made a full recovery despite what doctors, just lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. And so that was an awakening in itself. It was like, right, things aren't what they seem at all. And I had this complete recovery, as I said, over a few years. And that was the first layer, I think, of jolting me out fully of this system. And I dabbled back in the 3D world as a lawyer for a bit. I'm calling it 3D world, not in a judgment way. I'm just so we understand what I'm trying to say. And I dabbled back in that legal world for a bit just to see if I could, and I could. And I applied all the things I'd learnt to lower my stress levels as well, and create this change in my body. And it was very effective in that environment. I could have carried on as a lawyer, child protection lawyer, highly pressured, highly stressed, highly emotional, gritty work. But I had changed so much. I had really transformed from within, and I'd connected to myself in a deeper way. It was very difficult to go back into that system. So I made the decision, much to people's dismay, the closest ones to me who maybe struggled with that decision. And I said I was going to walk away from my legal career, and then I started to train in all of the ways that I had learned to recover. So it was all the transformational stuff. So it was like coaching, NLP, timeline work, hypnotherapy, EFT, loads of different ways, because all of these pieces helped me in different ways to recover. It was very, very detailed, like in-depth recovery. It was really, really on all levels. So I trained in these areas and I just fell in love with it. And then over the years, I'm just going to fast forward this story now. So over the years, I just started to create this way of living where I was absolutely set on, I'm going to help people in some way. I'm here to assist with people's healing journeys, transformations, whatever they're going through. I was really equipped to do it personally and professionally. And so I was on this kind of job for a while, and I created some movement with it, and I set my website up and had a couple of changes of business names and ideas. And I was sort of plodding along with all of that from about 2015 to about 2019. Yeah, like kind of good. I was doing loads of work, like loads of sessions, like really, really getting my experience in. But I was starting to feel towards 2019 that I was really, something needed to shift, and I wasn't sure what it was. And then I decided to leave some of my clinic work that I was doing, helping people with ME and chronic fatigue and stress conditions, professionals and stuff. And I wanted to leave that and focus on my own business. And at that time, it was called the Awake with Passion. That was my business name. And because I wanted people to be awake with passion in their lives. And then I made a decision to go all in on that. And then 2020 hit. And this was like what I call sort of the next big awakening, because or one of them, because this is where the starseed thing started coming in. So I was feeling this discontent, and this is always a sign for those of us who are here, right, to really activate. There's this deep discontent with life and how I was living it. I wasn't even sure what it was I wanted. I was just kind of going through the motions, and I just thought, well, I'm going to just go all in on my business and sort of, I don't know what that looks like. And then all of that pandemic stuff happened, right, in 2020. So I remember there was a time when I started to speak out about the world, and something happened to me that year. And I think this happened to a lot of people in 2020. Something went off in me. And some of you are experiencing this now, even, right? And we're doing it in different parts. Some people are going to experience this 5 years from now. But something was happening in me that I was just clicking into something. It was bigger than me. I started to share messages online. So those of you who knew me back in 2020, 21, I was very vocal. I lost a few people along the way, but it was with love. I was very vocal about what was happening, what I could see in the world. And it was just like something started coming through me that it was like I knew stuff that I didn't know that I knew. And I was posting these messages. It's like I had rock solid knowing of what was happening in the world, but no credentials. I had no experience in these types of things, but there were just knowings within me. And a lot of people had this going on, and they're having it now. And so I started to move through 2020 with this different energy, and it was really, really strong. And then I started to get little nuggets, and I was being drawn into this thing around star seeds, and that's where it all happened. And I would remember watching little videos or messages, and it was like it was following me everywhere, this thing about being a starseed. And I was like, what is this nonsense? That's where I was like, starseed, what is that? That's crazy. But I was interested, and I kept it just kept finding me. And then I think it was I kind of forget the details now, even though I wrote about it. Yeah, in the book I was writing about Laurie Ladd, and she's a big she's got like a big following on YouTube, and she kind of was one of the people that activated me. She'll never know that. Perhaps maybe one day she will. And it was something she was speaking about star seeds. This is why I like to talk about it, because I think people do get activated. And she was talking about star seeds and explaining what they were. And just so that you know, you're following, if you don't know, star seeds are basically, it's the idea, the truth that we have a soul. And if you have, you know the concept of having past lives, right? So you're in this body and you have a life, and then you finish this life cycle, and then you come back again and have another life. It's reincarnation, that kind of energy, right? Past lives that we know about already. But this is the premise that not all of us have souls that just originate from here, planet Earth. None of us originate from here, but we all have connections. And so a lot of us have had many experiences elsewhere. And then if you think about, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? If you understand yourself as a soul, and obviously if you don't know that, then this live stream probably is way too woo-woo for you anyway. But, the fact that you're here, you know that you have a soul. And the idea of if you have a soul and you're so expansive, the idea that you've only ever dropped in to this planet and had a human experience and nothing else is a very limited idea. And to me, it's always been a bit crazy. So I've always believed in beings from outside of Earth. The idea that Earth is the only inhabitable place, it has never sat with me. I've never believed that in my life. I never really dwelled on the idea, but it never sat with me. It made no sense. It seems very illogical and a bit insane to me. So the starseed is just an understanding that a lot of us are souls from other places, very far away from Earth, and we have experiences elsewhere. So we've experienced Earth here. Not all of us. Some of us, I know a few people who this is their first Earth, and they're doing amazing work for the Earth. But a lot of us have had Earth experiences as humans, and we've had experiences elsewhere. And so starseeds, what's happening with starseeds is that because of what's happening on the planet, all the craziness, everything that's going on, all the craziness, we collectively received the call, heard the nudge, volunteered, however you want to put it. We decided that we would come in and incarnate into these human bodies on this timeline at this point in history, so that we could assist with the shift. And the beautiful thing is there were so many of us, I'm going to include you in this conversation, so many of us that decided to do it all at once. we are like lighting up the planet, like lots of lights are going off around the planet, and we are shifting the direction of how things go. Talk about more of that in another live stream, but that we are doing so much shifting. And so that's what star seeds are. It's just a recognition. It's an acknowledgement, right? That of course we all come from different places, different star systems, because Earth is a dot in the universe. It's a given, right? So that's what star seeds are. And when I heard this message around star seeds, it made me emotional the first time I heard it. I could feel this just emotion stirring, and I had all of these little nudges, and one thing led to another. And I'll just cut it forward for you, but I ended up booking a session with someone who I recognized. I saw her speaking, and she was talking about Arcturians, and this word kept circling me. I think I'd had a report done, some online thing, which I wasn't even sure I believed it. It said something about Arcturians, but it also said lots of other ones as well. But the Arcturians stood out to me, and it just kept pulling. And I heard about Pleiadians, but then when I heard about Arcturians, I was like, oh, there's something about that. And I saw this woman called Melissa I was searching on YouTube, and I found her video, which is why I love it when people just find my videos. I get messages from people who suddenly go, I found you out of nowhere. And it warms my heart because I know that feeling. I found her out of nowhere. I was ready to find her message. And she was just talking about the Arcturians. And the Arcturians are just other beings, right, that exist outside of this star system in their own star system, planet, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And they are very much connected to Earth because they're here. They're one of the star beings. There are many that are here to assist humanity in different ways. And so I felt resonant. I really did. But my 3D mind was still not sure. So I booked a session with her, and that session happened on this day, 24th of March, 4 years ago. And so this is why today is my 4-year Angelic Arcturian Starseed anniversary, birthday, whatever, I don't know what to call it, but it's definitely a birthday anniversary type energy. And I had this session with her, and it just changed me because it was stuff that I already knew about myself. So when you do like a starseed activation, it's never stuff like that's gonna wow you, like, wow, I didn't know this about myself at all, because you do know. We always know deep within us, but what it is, to me, it's like a confirmation from outside of you. And nobody needs a starseed activation. It's something I offer in my business now. I do starseed soul activations for people, but I always say nobody needs an activation. You don't need to book it. Like, I'm not some sort of guru savior. Nobody is. But it's just what it is we can do it for ourselves, but sometimes we really just need the assistance, because it's very hard on this planet sometimes to really connect into it. And I'm so grateful that I chose to do that. And I got this confirmation, and first thing she did was she kind of greeted me with this Arcturian song of some kind. It was like an energy, and I was very emotional because it was like home. It was home to me. And then the angelic realm came in, and that was like home to me. And they were just greeting me in the session, and it was energy, and I could feel it. And she just laid it all out, and she just confirmed for me that, yes, you are a starseed. You've been following the nudges. It's been all around you, and you found your way here now. There was a lot of celebration in that session, and I could feel it. And I cried. It was very emotional. And she was telling me about my mission and some of the things I'm here to do. And they were all things that I felt inside of me for so long. Like when I was a lawyer, as much as I loved that work, towards the end, I was really, because I was being guided elsewhere, I was feeling very trapped, because I am very creative, and so there was no outlet for me doing the legal work in that way at the time. And so I was yearning to like write and create, and then I always used to put it off because I didn't have time or energy, or it was just all of those reasons, right? And to hear that I was here to write books was just like a relief to my soul. So, I've written one, I'm writing 2 and 3 kind of in the process. And there are so many more. And it was just like this confirmation. Hello, Catherine. Hello, Wisteria. Yeah, there was so much confirmation for me that, yeah, it was like, oh, I am here for these things. And she was laying out like, I'm here for a big mission. And it was so helpful because as a starseed, which you are, if you're still listening to me 24 minutes in, we are here not in an ego way, but we are here on a big mission, a really big mission. It doesn't mean that you've got to be seen by 10 million people, although perhaps you do. But it's a big mission because it's our soul work and it's our sole reason for being here. So it feels very big internally. And so I it was just so great to hear this, and it was so activating. So it was just the most wonderful. I never forgot that day. This is why I do celebrate this day within my own self every year, because it was such a transformation. And then off the back of that, I just continued on this path. And one of the things that I was told in that session was that she threw in, you're an Arcturian soul and you're also an angelic soul, and they're combined because Arcturians, when they kind of shift in consciousness, and then as you kind of get more advanced, a lot of Arcturians then go and train with the angelic realm, and then you kind of merge with them as well. So your soul sort of takes on another energy. This is why I'm a mixture of the Arcturian energy and the angelic energy, which is a great balance, I think, to have. It's handy in my work, it's handy with my clients, and for the world, hopefully. Yeah, so she was telling me about this and how, yeah, I was like this mixture of these two energies, and that I was here. Oh, yeah, and she said I was here to also channel. And that's where she lost me because she said, all the things she was saying to me was like, yes, yes, I know, that feel good. And like, it was finally confirmation. And then she started saying, as part of your Starseed mission, you're here to channel. And up until that point in the session, I was watching her, and she was channeling the Arcturians and the angelic realm. So she is a direct channel. And I was like, this is what I loved about her, because I was watching her going, oh, I just feel so good to watch her channel, and it feels something familiar in that to me. And yeah, and she kind of blasted me with that and said, you're here to channel. And I was like, I'm not sure about that. I was like, I really rejected that. And she said, she was laughing. She said, well, you're not going to do it right away. It'll be in a few months, because they're going to work on you in the background. That's what they do. Prepare your system, your body, and you're going to come back and yeah, you'll be doing it in a few months. And I was like, okay, well, I get that. I'm intuitive, and sometimes, I felt like, even back then live streaming, sometimes I would just come out with things and I was like, oh, where's that come from? It was just some sort of wisdom, and it was beyond me. So I sort of thought, oh yeah, well, maybe I'll, I am intuitive, and that'll kind of, that's part of me. And then she said, no, you'll be a direct channel, like directly channeling information. And I was like she said, just like me. And I was like, that was weird to me. So I just let that settle. They knew that I needed to integrate that for a few months, because my, again, 3D mind was still, reminder, I was a lawyer. It was evidence based. It was very practical, logical, black and white, right? Very, very, I love that. And I love that side of things also. But it was very wildly different to this. And so I just kind of followed the breadcrumbs. I had some experiences over those few months, but something about that session activated me, because things started feeling differently. And I really, really knew myself then as a starseed. I could really feel it. And it made sense of this feeling that maybe you feel, or you have felt. I always felt like if I was an alien, just visiting the earth. I used to think this so many times. What would I be thinking? What would I be thinking about this group here? Or what would I be thinking about this, occurrence? And I always used to see the world through this lens, as if I was an alien visitor. And so as this started to integrate, I really understood, oh, right, I am here to be in the human form, definitely live the human experience, get right down and dirty with the human experience, because I have had a lot of human experience, really feel what it feels like to be in this human experience, squeeze all the emotions and the energies out of it. But I am also here to anchor in the higher frequencies, and I'm also here for the next part of my life to bring in these other frequencies. And so that's over to you. I'm really talking about you here. We go through the sort of human life bit first. I think it's useful. And then there comes a point where we've got to activate now into the remembrance. And this is really why I'm live streaming today. Activating you into the remembrance that you came here on a mission, and you didn't just come here to have a human experience, learn and grow, la 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 la, and then pass. You actually came into this particular timeline that I'm speaking to you on with a very specific direct mission. Missions can look all sorts of ways. It could be you're a musician creating music for the world, you're a comedian, you're an artist, you're a family maker, a homemaker, you cut hair for a living, you work in construction, you write books, you do healing, you work in, hospitality. It comes in every shape and size. You're in the legal profession, you're working in technology, you work for the NHS, you work in hospitals, you work in politics. Whatever your area is, there are star seeds in every single industry. That's really important because I think a lot of spiritual circles, which I'm not keen on, they make it sound as if star seeds are love and light only, and they're just peaceful beings, and they just eat nuts and seeds all day long, and that is all that they're here to do. And that's not true. And what it does is it makes people feel that that's not them. And I want to shake you and wake you now, if you need it, to say you're here as a starseed in all your glory, right? Like I am a starseed. That's why I kind of want to share. Been thinking I want to share more behind the scenes stuff, because I want to channel directly, but I also want to show people that I'm not just this channel, because I am very direct. I can channel literally from the angelic realm and the Arcturian council. It's very direct. It's a very high frequency energy, but I'm also a human having a human experience. And I don't like this idea that starseeds and spiritual people, I don't even like the word spiritual. I'm trying to make peace with it again because it's been like bastardized, ruined. But we don't have to be that way. We can be very real, very real. You can swear and be a starseed. You can eat meat and be a starseed. You can even drink alcohol and be a starseed. I'm not drinking alcohol anymore because I physically can't. It's not because of choice. I'd happily have a beer or a glass of wine or a whiskey. Maybe I will be able to at some point. I certainly don't get drunk, haven't been drunk in years, but I reach the point where I seem to get massive headaches when I drink. So I just don't drink anymore. Haven't drunk for a long time. But it's not a morality thing, right? It's not that. It's just a frequency body thing. We're all different. You don't have to give up alcohol to be a channel, for example. It's just different. But it's understanding that starseeds come in all shapes and sizes, and so let this land wherever it lands. It's very normal. I want to take out this weirdness around starseeds. I'm very at ease with it now. I'm very at ease with speaking about starseeds. I wouldn't have done this 4 years ago, done a live stream, knowing that anyone can listen to it on Facebook. I'm sure people see my posts about starseeds sometimes when I talk about them, and they sneer and they roll their eyes and they laugh and they mock. I don't care. It just rolls off me. It's okay. I understand that people don't understand, and that is okay. But I'm here to talk to those of you who get it, and those of you who are starseeds, and those of you who are waking up and activating that part of you now, or you're going to, or you're in the process of, or you already have and you just want some assistance on the way. So yeah, it's such a journey, and it's just to take out the weirdness of it, right? And the other thing that I want to just as we're here, just kind of it's flowing through me, is to say that on this journey, people will judge you. People will think that you're batshit crazy, and I think it's really important to make peace with that. I was very triggered maybe a few years ago. I've definitely worked on that over the years. I remember being triggered when I was at some point I was being a bit more vocal about channeling, being a starseed, and then I got the whole "you're demonic" stuff, commented upon my posts, and at the time it just made me want to shrink for a minute and feel really like, oh, and it brought up all that old persecution wounding that a lot of us have from previous lives and timelines, until it strengthened me, and then I started to be able to move through that. And if I could wave a magic wand, I would love everybody that sees my stuff to get on board with it. Of course I would. So I'd much prefer that. But the difference is I don't let it bother me now. If people don't resonate with it, that's fine. I won't tolerate rudeness or aggression on my posts. I'll just delete those comments if there's anything like that. Or if I can feel dark, heavy energies, I'm just going to delete them, because it's not good for anyone to have that in this space. But everyone's welcome to think what they like. But I feel strengthened now that I've been doing this for a few years at least now, consciously, where I just let it roll off me. So I want to encourage you to come out, in whichever way you feel. But I think the more that we talk about it, the more that we normalize this, the more the consciousness shifts, you know. So I want to end this lifetime later, whenever it's time for me to complete this life cycle. My intention is to have normalized this in the world, that people hear someone's channel and they go, oh great. They don't go, burn her, persecute her, she's demonic. It's like, no, we understand what it is, and we understand that in the human form we are so powerful that we can connect into divine energies, which are not religious based. They're divine energies, source energies, God, call it whatever you want. I do not care what you call it. It's the source energy, the light that we all come from. And we're here to bring that down onto the planet. And there is an immense amount of things happening on this planet. Crazy things, unwanted things, yes. Disturbing things, yes. But that's why we're here. And so the whole starseed thing is very, very relevant to our time here. And the more of us that remember that we are here on a mission, wakey, wakey, with love, wakey, wakey. Stop trying to continue this facade, I'm going to say, that you're just this human walking around. I know that you know this, but embrace the fact that there's a part of you that's from a higher consciousness. You have a whole star family. You have a whole team around you. There's so much more for you. And when you understand that you're in this body, you can bring in all of this light. You can activate, you can wake up these codes that you carry. There's so much more to say, but I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. But the starseed energy is a very real thing. And I guess I'm just here just to put my stake in the ground today and say it's a real thing. It's not made up or bullshit. And, you know, there's more of us. We are increasing in numbers. And I'm often told that, there will be a time when there will be more starseeds on the planet than not. Because when you think about us here, we're going to be on this earth, right, for some time, as long as we can, or as best as we can on the soul contract that we have, because we're all here on, you know, for different periods. We've got us here. We've got other generations that have been here long before us. So for those of you who are feeling impatient for change, just remember and give some love to those that came before us, and they had all this knowledge and frequency in them, but the collective wasn't ready yet. So their job was just to hold it. And if you notice in our generation here, as I'm speaking, we're 2025, we are activating this energy. So it is very powerful off the back of what they've done. And so we're walking this path, right? And it's very, very powerful. And this is what we're doing. We're bringing it all in. And so there will be activations happening. People will continue to awaken. And so we're encouraging you now as we're speaking. I say we, me and my team, to remind you that you came here with a very specific purpose. It's not about figuring out your one true purpose, because you have lots. You've lots of reasons for being here. But it's about understanding your true nature. Understanding your true nature, and then doing what you need to do to get free of any interference. It's the other part, very important, so that you can move forwards, do the things you came here, be in all of your energy, in all of your frequency, because this is what literally shifts the trajectory, the whole timeline of this planet. It's incredibly powerful, and when you tap into that, it even feels quite exciting, you know. I'm not saying there's not all sorts of stuff going on in the world I don't enjoy, you know. I look at it, but there's a lot happening, and we are here to be the pioneers at this point on the timeline to bring in these new frequencies. So yeah, starseeds are increasing. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. So we've got us, we've got the other generation, and then we've got the younger generation coming in. If you know any children, you have children, you will notice that there's a different frequency in these children. There's just more of a consciousness. They're aware, they're more connected earlier. And then we're going to also have walk-ins that, you know, it's more of a complex thing, but souls that walk in, maybe when that soul was going to exit, you'll have a soul, higher frequency soul, that comes in and takes on that form, so it prevents them having to go through the life from day one. So it's like just kind of convenience thing. And so we're going to have a lot of that. So we're going to have a lot more starseeds present on the earth. which is very much here to uplift and help heal the planet, uplift the planet, expand, bring it into new ways of being, because everything needs an overhaul, right? Everything, every single structure on the planet needs an overhaul, and this is what we're doing. So just wanted to open this up today. Hold on. Oh, try and see the comments. Facebook makes it very hard. Oh, here you go. So Neil's saying, I've never had anyone mock me when I say I'm a Reiki practitioner. Maybe they're just being polite. Well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, I think Reiki's a great example of something that might have been really woo-woo years ago. Even acupuncture used to be really woo-woo out there. Like, what do you mean putting needles into energy points? And oh my God, that's crazy talk. And now it's like available in like mainstream stuff. It's very acceptable if you say you've had an acupuncture session or something. So yeah, Reiki's kind of more mainstream, and maybe they are just being polite to your face. And you're saying your phone says wakey wakey. There you go. Little wink and a nudge maybe from your soul, from your higher self. Yeah. So Catherine says, people accept that I do Reiki again, but I don't tell them yet that I can channel. Yeah, there you go. Because channeling is also one of those ones. I think that's one of the ones high up on the list where people are not as okay with that. So I'm very aware as I talk about channeling, it really, really repels some people because they feel that, and I understand that because there's a lot of entities, there's a lot of channels that have corrupted energy, distorted energy. So they're not all channels are equal, right? It really, really does depend, which is probably for another live stream. But yeah, I hear you on that, Catherine, because yeah, it's like there are certain things that feel safer than others, right? And then there's a whole persecution wound, witch wound, all of that kind of stuff that we want to sometimes clean up. Yeah, it's not boring, is it? It's definitely not boring. So yeah, just want to give you a bit of confidence or a boost if you need it. And those of you who watch later, most of you watch on the replay, and if you're watching here on YouTube also later, yeah, feel free to drop me a comment. Let me know how you're feeling on any of this subject, or just say hello. Let me know if you're here, if you're a starseed and you just want to say hello and come out. Drop me a comment so I can cheer you on. Like, where are the starseeds? This is the other thing I'll end with is, oh my God, since I've not become a starseed, I've always been a starseed, but since I've consciously stepped into this 4 years ago, I have had all the clients that have come to me, I'd say, yep, they've all been starseeds. It's like I've drawn them in. There are so many of us. Just a little reminder, because sometimes we feel alone. And starseeds, by the way, we're scattered around the planet very strategically. So most of us are not in the same country, city, town. We're scattered all over the place. So a lot of our favourite people are like far, far away. So it's very, very deliberate. But sometimes it makes you feel like you're alone, or it makes you feel like there's only you and there's no one else. So this is partly why I want to sort of show up with this energy and just let you know that I'm here. There's loads of people. There is so many all around the world. All around the world, there's so many Arcturian souls. I'm delighted. People message me, so I'm Arcturian. I'm like, yay! I love all of the star systems, Pleiadians, Andromedans, whoever. I don't mind. But it's like there's a familiarity, right? Yeah. So there's so many of us. You are not alone. That's just an illusion. There's loads of us. So on that note, just a few things very quickly on the subject of star seeds. I have got a few things. I'm thinking, yeah, I have. So for those of you who are listening to this and you're like not sure, and you're like, maybe am I have a masterclass on my website, and it's called I Think I'm a Starseed, but Am I Really? And What Next? There's a masterclass on my website. So if you just go to the Awake, I'm not putting links here because Facebook doesn't share it on a live stream. So just go to theawakerevolution.com or message me if you can't find that, theawakerevolution.com. And you can find my masterclasses on there. There's one about this, and it's very activating. It's a great session I did a while ago. I also have another class on there called the Starseed Double Mission Masterclass, and that's for those of you who have the double mission of your own personal growth, and you want to make an impact. So it's like the double mission that many starseeds have. So there's a masterclass there on that. And then the main thing is the Starseed Soul Activation. I offer those sessions, yeah, as like just a standalone session. So again, just check out theawakerevolution.com. Message me if you're not sure, comment here if you're not sure. And that's like the activation session, which is a really beautiful, powerful session. And I now do those, I do them online, so wherever you are in the world. So I have clients from all over now, which I love. So online, but I also have in person now. So if you're in London, or if you want to travel to London or have an excuse to travel to London, we can do it in person if you want to get into the same room, because that's really lovely as well. Like I don't think we do that enough, but also online. So, and there is an offer on the in-person sessions until the 31st of March. So just if you're interested in that, check that out. And then there's all other ways of working. I do channeling and other ways. Just check it all out. Everything's on the website, theawakerevolution.com. All right, so I'm here to assist should you require my assistance, our assistance. But yes, I will be showing up more on my YouTube channel actually. So if you want to, if you like this kind of thing, Facebook is deleting, I think, live streams after 30 days or something stupid like that. So, which is a real shame. So I have so many live streams on here. So if you want to kind of consume more of this type of energy, just make sure you're following on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, just hit subscribe so that you can be notified when I have new videos, because I've got a lot more content coming out, and I'm being very guided towards YouTube now. So because Facebook is just messing up the live stream, which is a shame, but I'll still show up, still here on Facebook too. All right, so I will be there. Yeah, and that is it. That is it for today. So I'm just gonna check the comments. Now it's jammed. Can't see the comments. I'll check back in afterwards. Yeah, I will check back in. So thank you for joining me. So that's 4 years as a starseed. Life has changed tremendously for the better. Not to say it's been an easy journey, and it's all been, oh, I was activated as a starseed, and now life's been all smooth sailing. There's been a lot of stuff that's come up, and there's a lot of things that come up with anchoring more light into your body, but that is why we came. That is why we came. So I will leave it there, and I will see you very soon. And yeah, I send you so much love, and thank you for being here in the world, and keep doing what you're doing. And I want to encourage you on your mission, whatever that mission is. I want to encourage you to just keep going. Do not quit. Take a break, take some time out if you need, rest, recover, whatever those energies are that you need, but do not quit. You are here for a very specific reason, and yeah, you're very needed. All right, so I send you lots of love, and we'll talk soon. All right, take care. Bye for now.